Let's take you back to one of our top stories now, the For Meyiwa trial. The state having just wrapped up the cross-examination of Sergeant Nduduzi Nkosi, a cellphone data downloader who downloaded information from accused 3's cell phone, which was found in his possession when he was arrested back in 2015 for unlawful possession of a firearm. Let's go to eNCA's Moloko Moloto now, who was in court for us, just tracking the proceedings and developments. Moloko, that was a very quick witness there in the For Meyiwa trial. I think the quickest in its history. Exactly what was the evidence that he gave to the court?
Hello, Masero. Yes, indeed. Today, the state called 2 witnesses. The first one to take to the witness stand was Elphas Mushwana. This is the man who, at the time, he was involved in the investigations around the killing of For Meyiwa, was holding the position of sergeant in the South African Police Services. He has since left the employ of the SAPS. He is now in the private sector, but he was responsible for downloading, not to analyze. Let us underline this. His duties were specifically to download certain data and information from the cell phones of the people who were in the house when For Meyiwa was killed. And we heard in court that he was able to successfully download the information from the cell phone that belongs to Kelly Khumalo and also Tumelo Magala, and as well as when it comes to Zandi Khumalo's cell phone, he could not access it, the Nokia type of a phone. He had to remove the SIM card from that particular device, and then that was when he was able to access that particular cell phone or data in the particular SIM card. And there was also a cell phone that belonged to the late For Meyiwa. That's when he encountered problems, because he was saying, obviously, as we know, at the time For Meyiwa was no more, and there was no one to provide his credentials, the login details. And he says the difficulty, therefore, was that because that password was still active, the software system, the XRY software that they used to access their cell phones, could not override that particular a phone that belonged, the iPhone that belonged to the late For Meyiwa. But interestingly, he has pointed out that of the cell phones that he received, only Thokozisi Twala and Mr. I think it was Longwe Twala, not Thokozisi, Longwe Twala and Mr. Tumelo Madala, only those managed to provide their login details, their passwords. It seems the rest did not. However, the police system, the software, still managed to override those, and they managed to get that data. And therefore, the question was, why was it impossible to get the particular information from For Meyiwa? As I said, they couldn't access it. And we also had the remarks from the presiding officer, who indicated that I know that we encountered these problems even when the man who killed River Steenkamp, Oscar Pistorius, was in court, and he was questioning why we still do not have the license so that we can have access to this. But another interesting point, Masero, was that Mr. Mushwana was asked whether he had a mandate, or part of their mandate as the people who download this information and data from their cell phones, whether they can also go and retrieve the information that has been deleted. And his response during the evidence in chief was that indeed many times we do that. The follow-up question therefore was, did you do that? Did you retrieve the deleted information from those cell phones that you have had access to? He said, no, I didn't do that. Interestingly, there was no follow-up questions as to why he did not do that. But let's listen to him as he was responding there.
If there's any information that has been deleted on the device, who will be able to pick that up?
It will depend on the software that it's utilized by the XRY or the extracting program.
Ukuthi ke kunemininingwane engasekho ke noma edilithiwe ukuthi lokho kuzotholakala kanjani ke lokho ke kuzoba ukuthi ke iXRY software noma ke program esetshenziswayo ke iyiphi.
Yes. So if it's able to extract deleted data, it will be able to do so. If it can't, it won't be able to.
Uma kuwukuthi ke lokho ke okungasekho ke manje noma sekudilithiwe ke ekwisimo sokuthi iyakuthola iyakwazi ukubuyisa izokwenza. Uma kuwukuthi ke ayikho kwisimo sokuthi kubuyiseke okudilithiwe angeke kwenze.
But was it part of your mandate to check if there's any deleted information?
Yeah, usually we have to check that.
Ngokunjalo ke into naleyo kufanele siyibhekeke ukuthi akukho yini okucishiwe ke noma okudilithiwe.
Yes, were you able to, what was your finding in this regard? Or let's put it this way, did you check for that in this specific matter?
I didn't.
And Moloko, of course, we wrapped up proceedings today. Back on Monday, do we know who to expect?
Well, we don't know up to now, but we know at least that the state has lined up about 50 witnesses in this particular case. But of importance here is that one of the witnesses that we understand is still going to be called is one who is going to be analyzing the gun. Is an expert when it comes to guns. You would recall that one of the accused persons here, accused number 3, was arrested somewhere in Cleveland. He was found in possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition, and this is the person, as you might have heard 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back from one of the data analysts, was the person who took a picture of himself, and he had sent a message via WhatsApp to some of the people bragging about his money and even the gun and all that. And that person happened to be accused number 3, and even his lawyer admitted that this picture is the person of is my client. So importantly, I suppose that going forward the state will want to link that particular gun with possibly the one that might have killed For Meyiwa, and that would be the task of the person who will be coming here to testify on the behalf of the state. But we should also recall that there's one Colonel Lambertas Stein, who is also a data analyst, who has already testified here in court that the accused number 5, Mr. Ntuli, the phone that he previously used, the phone that was linked to him, he actually telephoned Miss Kelly Khumalo twice, the first time on the 2nd of August 2014, and he also phoned him again, or that phone phoned Kelly's number again on the 15th of October, and on the 26th of October then For Meyiwa was killed. We don't know up to so far as to what the two, accused number 5 and Kelly Khumalo, were really talking about at this point in time. But of course we heard from Mr. Stein saying that the lead investigators are the ones who will kind of like continue with more investigations, or in terms of providing more evidence with regard to some part of the investigations that they could have conducted.
All right, Moloko Moloto, live for us there outside the High Court in Pretoria. Let's leave it there for now.